Hi, my name is John McKinney. I'm the Waterfowl Program Manager here at the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission, and I'm going to briefly provide you an overview of the process for changing our duck zones and dark Canada goose unit boundaries here in the state of Nebraska. So as a review, you can see here, this is our duck zones here in the state of Nebraska, and this is our dark goose units. And so our process for receiving input is beginning here in November, where we'll receive our first round of input. And after that first round of input, staff will review any received input and then make a preliminary proposal in January. During the month of January, hunters will be surveyed on that proposal and will analyze the feedback received then. And then staff will make a final proposal to the Nebraska Game and Parks Board of Commissioners at the April commission meeting. Once our commission approves that proposal, that will be sent on to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for approval. We must do that by August 1st. And then the new zones will go into effect in 2026. Anyone who's had a HIP number within the last 3 years will be receiving a postcard, as you can see there on the screen. And so we'll be accepting input during this first round until November the 30th. And so individuals wishing to offer input can go to outdoornebraska.gov. You can search Waterfowl Rezoning, where you'll see a series of maps, and you can follow the directions about how to fill out those maps and mail them back to us. Hunters can also create their own maps about how they wish the zone boundaries to be changed and send that to us as well. And we'll review those as they come in. For those of you that receive a postcard, you can also scan the QR code, and that will take you to our website as well. Come January, we'll be accepting a second round of input. And so after we review all the input received in November, we'll make a preliminary proposal sometime in January for duck zones and dark goose units. And then hunters will be surveyed based off that preliminary proposal. Once that survey period is over with, we'll review all the data received, and then we'll make a final proposal to our Board of Commissioners. And our goal is for them to vote on that at the April commission meeting. We must submit all these new zone boundaries, as I mentioned earlier, to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for final approval by August 1st, 2025. And our new zones will go into effect in fall of 2026. So we must vote on them next year in spring of 2025, but they actually won't take effect until the beginning with the fall 2026 hunting seasons. As a quick review of federal criteria, so this process for changing our duck zones can only occur every 5 years. And so it's really important that hunters who wish to see a change in their duck zone boundaries reach out to us and be engaged in this process. Currently, we have 4 zones in the state of Nebraska, and that's the maximum number allowed. And so with our 4 zones, we are currently not allowed to offer a split during our hunting seasons. Any zones or units we send to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for approval must be contiguous, which means they must connect. And if they don't connect, then we're essentially adding another zone, which means we're going to have more than 4 zones. And boundaries for our zones and dark goose units must be readily identifiable. And so roads are the preferred boundary. Looking at input received throughout this process, we're only going to be accepting written comments. And so we will make exceptions for those that don't have a printer. But as I mentioned earlier, you will find those maps on our website, outdoornebraska.gov, and you can search Waterfowl Rezoning, where you'll see instructions and maps there. You can print off those maps, indicate any changes that you would like to see, and mail those back to us. And so we will only be accepting comments from a single individual. A letter in support of a boundary change with multiple signatures will not be accepted. And so it's okay if multiple people would like to see the exact same boundary change moved or proposed. And so they can offer their input individually instead of just drawing one map on a piece of paper per se and having a bunch of people sign it and send it back. And so individuals are encouraged to suggest a small change due to a larger change affecting a greater number of hunters that may not agree with a change, which ultimately will result in no change being made. So any proposed change, we're going to need an apparent majority of hunters in that area. And so no apparent majority is going to result in no change to that boundary as well. And so it's important to note that we will not be accepting input regarding hunting season dates for this process. We set our hunting seasons on an annual basis. This is only for duck zone and dark Canada goose unit boundaries that we're going to be accepting input on at this time. For those that wish to offer input on our hunting season dates, they can do so at the appropriate time each year. And so with that, again, we want hunters to be engaged in this process since this opportunity only arises every 5 years. And so if you have any questions for us, please reach out to us. You can see my contact information there on the screen, and we look forward to working with you.